Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for joining me here today. Today's video is going to be a good old-fashioned book haul, showing you all the books I picked up in the last couple weeks, a few odds and ends here and there. But anyway, we're just going to chat all things in the new book realm. Let's get into it. The first book that I picked up is called The Things We Do to Our Friends, and it's by Heather Darwent. And this was actually a gift from my fiance because for Valentine's Day, we went to Barnes & Noble and we just decided he was going to pick out a book that he thought I would like. So I didn't actually pick this out for myself, he picked it out, but I think he did a good job just based on reading the inside flap what the synopsis is. Basically, this is a thriller set in Scotland, and the main character is, I guess you could say, like, starting over, and she has some secrets. Obviously, I don't know what they are because I haven't read it yet, but she meets a group of people, and I think it's essentially that this friend group is kind of like a toxic friend group, and they get into something. It sounds interesting. So the ending sentence on the flap says that The Things We Do to Our Friends is a seductive thriller about the toxic battle between those who have and those who covet, between the desire to truly belong and the danger of being truly known. So yes, definitely sounds right up my alley. It's hard to tell sometimes with thrillers because they don't give you too much detail in terms of the plot in the summary typically, because obviously you don't want to get too much into it or you'll spoil it. I'm interested to read it and I'll give it a rundown or a review at some point on the channel. And I believe this was newly released in February. Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. The second book that I picked up is actually one I got used on Amazon, and it's called This Wicked Fate by Kalynn Bayron. Cover looks like this. Such interesting cover art. I actually read the first book in this series earlier this month and liked it so much I wanted to read the second one, and it wasn't available at the library at the time for a few weeks at the least. There were tons of holds. I ended up just buying it used on Amazon, but this is a YA fantasy. Basically, our main character, Bree, is descended from the Greek god Medea, and she has the power to basically control plants. And I'm not going to give away the plot because I will talk about the book in my February wrap-up, but essentially Bree has some very cool superpowers when it comes to plants. And this is the second book in that series. So I'm excited to try this. Again, was able to get it used on Amazon. That's such a good tip if you can't get something at the library for a while, if you have the ability. Amazon is a really good resource, especially if you use like used sellers on Amazon versus buying them new. Sometimes you can save a few dollars that way. The next book I picked out is called Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. And this is not a new book by any means. I think this came out maybe in like 2018. When did this come out? 2019. So it's not an especially new release. The sequel to this recently came out and everyone's been talking about it. And obviously I can't read that until I read this. And when I looked up kind of the synopsis of what this was about, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like this. So in this book, we're following Alex as a member of Yale's freshman class. And I think she kind of discovers some shady things happening on campus. I don't know too much about what's going to happen in this. It seems like it's going to be a little bit of a secret society type book, which always like interests me. Any type of like mystery like that, I'm always really excited about. So I'm curious to read this. I'm excited to read it, and I'm hoping that I like it enough that I want to read the sequel, which just came out as well. Okay, the next book I picked up is called The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie by Rachel Linden. And the cover on this is just so cute. Oh my goodness. But I don't know much about this. I saw the cover and I think I've discussed before how much I love lemons. And that was what drew me into this one, was the lemons on the cover. When I read the synopsis, I was like, oh, that sounds cute. It sounds like it's gonna be kind of like a cute, heartwarming read, which sometimes in between like thrillers and mysteries and like a really heavy hitting fiction, it can just be nice to have something a little bit lighter. But the concept of this was really interesting. So basically we're following our character who's in her 30s. She is given a gift from her great aunt of 3 lemon drops. And each one basically allows her to live a day in her life as if she had done something different, kind of like as if she had been on a different life trajectory, if, you know, she had taken this path versus the one she actually took. So she can live 3 different days. I don't know, anything time travel-y or the concept of this where you get to see how your life might be different in different contexts really interests me. So I am looking forward to diving into this one. I might actually read this one first. We'll see. It's on my list. I have obviously a million things on my TBR, especially right now because I just bought all these new books, but I'm really excited about this one. The next book I got is called My Last Innocent Year by Daisy Alpert Florin. The cover art on this is really beautiful as well. It looks a lot like an oil painting maybe that was made into the cover by chance. I'm not sure, but really beautiful art. Trigger warning on this. I don't know much about it, but I do know that it deals in some way with sexual assault. So keep that in mind if you're planning on picking this up. I know that it references sexual assault and that's like a main plot point, as well as a professor-student relationship going on in this book. So very complicated. I think it's going to be kind of a heavy read, but probably a good one, I hope. This one also just came out, was just released this month. And again, looking forward to it. Hopefully I'll have some reviews on each of these, or a couple of them, by my February wrap up at the end of the month. And the last book that I picked up is called These Infinite Threads by Tahereh Mafi. Like, look how reflective and beautiful this cover is. This was in the YA section, immediately caught my eye just because of how beautiful it is. But I believe this is a fantasy novel. Honestly, I don't know too much about it. Okay, explosive magic, searing romance, and heartbreaking betrayal. Oh, okay. So this one I'll have to read after I read the first one, because apparently this is the second in, yeah, it's the second in a series, and it does say that, but I was so drawn in by the cover I didn't even notice. So I'll have to look up the first book in the series, which is called This Woven Kingdom. Interested to see how the honestly, like, look how beautiful this rose gold is. Like, look how gorgeous this is. So excited to pick this up. But yeah, I'll definitely look and see if the library has This Woven Kingdom. If it hasn't been super recently released, I might actually be able to read it on my iPad. So I'll look into that before I obviously dive into this one, because I'll need that for context. Last but not least, this is not a book, but I did get it at Barnes & Noble and I wanted to share it because it's so beautiful. I really enjoy puzzles, and this puzzle is so pretty. It's sort of like a charcuterie board meets still life painting. It's so pretty. It has like melons and cheeses, and this is a huge puzzle. I think it's 1,000 pieces. Yes, 1,000-piece puzzle, but it's by this brand called Paradise Found. And the box is just beautiful. Like, the artwork on this is just gorgeous, and I can't wait to put it together. I'm hoping after I put it together, the box I'm going to leave out in my living room on my coffee table, because it's just so stunning and it matches my spring decor in the living room really well. I think it's gonna add like a nice little pop of color to my table. Not a book, but those of us who like to listen to audiobooks, sometimes audiobook and puzzle at the same time, which is me. I'm excited to put this one together. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Probably really difficult, challenging because it's so big. The artwork is just stunning, so I can't wait to put this together. All right, and I think that is the end of this book haul. So we've got 6 new books. Well, 7 if we count the fact that I didn't realize this one was a sequel and I have to read the first one, obviously, before I can pick this one up. So 7 books to read to add to my TBR. Very exciting stuff. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really encourage you to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell if you want to see when I upload, and hopefully at the end of the month, I'll be able to review a couple of these new releases for you. All right, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you all soon. Bye.